close he is now. This is going to come down to the wire. He's going to look up the inside. He's got a tight line. He's right there. Has he done it? He's got the inside line, but Herfoss perfect through there. Maxwell, he's got it. He's side by side. I think he's going to do it. Maxwell wins.
There's a little bit of argy-bargy, as you can see here, between Wayne Maxwell and Troy Herfoss.
If there was two boys that would never back down, it's these two guys.
There goes Herfoss up the inside. A repeat of last lap. They are side by side. Bayless almost had his knee on the fairing of the Penrite Honda.
Waters close the line. Waters, it's off. I can't believe it. Waters has gone down. That's incredible.
Troy Herfoss will be the champion with 298.5 points, an unassailable lead over the rest of the field.
Look at that. He's giving everything he's got and having fun.
The Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Welcome to 2019. 7 rounds on the calendar, and round 1 kicks off right here at the world class, the iconic, the one and only Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Back with you this year, Eminata Francesco alongside Steve Martin. A very excited Steve Martin for a very big year ahead.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, and what better way, as always, starting off here with the World Superbikes at Phillip Island. We're sure for plenty of action out on track.
And plenty of crowds here too, which is fantastic to see. Now, we had our silly season. We saw a lot of rider changes and, of course, some new teammates up and down pit lane. Which teammate pairing are you most looking forward to seeing for this season?
Well, I guess in theory, the strongest one is X-Star Suzuki with Wayne Maxwell and Josh Waters. Plenty of championships won between those two guys. They're going to be pushing each other to the limit to get dominance for sure.
That's because there is a very, very competitive pit lane, probably the most fierce competition that I've seen with so many contenders for this 2019 championship.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different guys that could take it out this year. Probably one who doesn't even have a teammate, Troy Bayless. Keep an eye on him. He's fitter than ever, a lot fitter than he was last year. And if you remember back to the first race last year, he nearly won that. So he's going to be strong around here.
He absolutely loves this track too. Why wouldn't you? It is world class. And of course, you've had plenty of track time here too, Steve. You take us on a bit of a tour. Here it is, Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit.
Valentino Rossi, Casey Stoner and Mick Doohan have all said that this piece of real estate is one of the most electrifying on earth. Phillip Island has long been the mecca of motorsport, and this weekend our ASBK riders get their chance at glory. But putting that perfect lap together takes big commitment. Today, I want to show you some of the key points that it takes to get right to just get that perfect lap, starting here at turn 1, Motul corner. But it doesn't start here, it starts way back there up the straight. Believe you me, you're tucked in behind the screen doing speeds of over 300 kilometres an hour as you head into that braking zone, hard on the brakes. Watch out for lots of overtaking there. It's cambered here, really cambered in the middle of the corner, over 200 kilometres an hour. You need to be pinpoint accurate if you want to get it right. And this is definitely a spot that can make or break a lap time. Who would have thought that turn 4, YMI corner, the second tightest corner on this circuit, could create so much havoc? Braking in here is incredible. There's so many overtaking moves to be had, but you've got to keep that mid-corner speed up and get the great drive out as you head up into YMF. You'll see the bikes dance as they head out of Siberia, moving around all over the place and heading into the Hayshed corner. 200 plus k's an hour, high speed action with the front moving. It's all about setting yourself up into this corner here, Lukey Heights. You'll see overtaking manoeuvres right here behind us. We saw Bryan Staring do that last year. It's not all about the entry though, because the bikes are always jostling for position up over the blind crest here behind me to try and get that perfect entry into the tight Pirelli corner below. You know you're riding well if you head through turn 12 with both wheels drifting, heading out towards the ripple strip, tucked in behind the screen, heading towards that finish line to get either your PB or a race win.
Well, the racing action is not too far away. Straight after this break, we kick off the season with Superbikes race number 1. A new season is upon us, and of course there have been plenty of changes up and down pit lane, especially for the Superbike category. So let's catch up with those riders who have made their move up and down the paddock for 2019. It all started with Wayne Maxwell departing the Yamaha racing team and moving to Team Suzuki X-Star.
Yeah, look, stoked. I'm really happy to be at Team Suzuki X-Star. Obviously they're all familiar faces, knowing all the guys, been at Suzuki before and ridden the GSX-R, so I know the capabilities. Not only that, having ridden Josh and seen their success, 2017 and last year. So yeah, happy to be a part of the crew. We're here basically to work as a team, work together, try to get Suzuki, first and second. Sometimes I might not be able to be first, but hopefully more times I can be first than Josh.
Alex Phillip joined Team Suzuki X-Star as a satellite rider, so he brings with him his own team but has all the factory and technical support.
Yeah, so this year we've moved across, having a bit of support with the X-Star guys at X-Star Suzuki, and yeah, it's been good so far. We've got Wayne and Josh, and they're obviously going to be the 1 and 2, or number 1 and 1 guys, and then we've got heaps of support from them, and basically for us it's going to be great in terms of just keeping on top of a training program and having some time off away from the races in terms of day-to-day work and working on the motorcycle. So yeah, for us it's a great opportunity, and really want to grasp it to try and move forward.
With a spot now available at the Yamaha racing team, it meant that crew Halliday could move back up to the Superbike class, becoming teammates of Daniel Falzon.
It's great to be back on the bigger bike. It's a bit of a handful compared to the 600. It's still getting a little bit to take used to, but I'm back with the factory Yamaha team, and I'm on one of the best bikes in the paddock. It's a great opportunity for me to come from 600 back up into the same team on the same team and be on a new size bike. And I've been in this class before, and I know how competitive it is. The hard thing is, the first round's at a track that I'm a bit up and down about. I just need to get through round 1 with as many points as I can, and just stay safe, have fun. And I'm getting a bit older, so I'm starting to enjoy it more and taking it less serious. But at the same time, still competitive, and just need to be out there, play safe, and just enjoy it.
The Penrite racing team becomes a 2-rider team, with Marcus Kyoto moving from Team Suzuki X-Star to Honda.
This year I'm racing for the Penrite Honda racing team, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, joining the championship winning team. And going into this year, my goals are to move further up the field and then get some really good results and hopefully finish off the year strong. Having Troy as my teammate this year will be interesting. I think I could learn a few things off him. Hopefully I can. And then, he'll be a tough person to beat, I'm sure. And the first person you want to beat is always your teammate. So, we'll see how the year pans out with that.
Max Croker stays with Allerton Racing but moves up with the big boys in the Superbike class.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be stepping up this year, and to have Matt Mladen behind me again is fantastic. And with Suzuki this year and also Yoshimura, so it's great to have Matt's team on board, and yeah, hopefully we have a great year. I mean, every race's expectation is to win, really, but yeah, I mean, I think we can be up the top. You know, with Matt Mladen behind me, it makes my job a lot easier. He sees a lot of things that I don't, so yeah, I'd hope to be running up the front, yeah.
Lachlan Epps moves to BC Performance Kawasaki as the teammate of Bryan Staring.
Really excited to be riding for the Kawasaki BC Performance team. Really looking forward to getting on my Ninja ZX10RR and really getting to see what it can do. Definitely going to be trying to get top rookie of the year in the championship. That's our #1 goal, and just trying to grow and improve throughout the year.
So there you have it. That was quite a silly season. Best of luck to all those riders in their new spots for 2019.
Riders are coming round now to take up their positions on the grid for the first of our 3 races here at the first round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship in the Kawasaki Superbike class. And Steve, I cannot remember a year where the field has been so stacked with talent as we have seen this year.
It's unbelievable. Have a look at it out there, Phil. It is absolutely amazing. Big field this year.
Time to head down to the grid and hear from the man that qualified on pole position.
Aidan, great to see a privateer on pole position, giving those factory boys a bit of a run for their money, and obviously feeling a bit confident with a clear track ahead of you.
Yeah, we got a clear track ahead of us, 12-lap race, really looking forward to it. Guys behind me have put together an unreal package this weekend, and for the first race of the year I'd love to get a win for Dave, one of our team members, so hopefully we can get that under our belt. The weather conditions are awesome, sun's out and shining on the track feels good on the outlap, so head down and give it to them.
All very positive. Go get them.
Thank you. Great to see Aidan Wagner back in Australia and on a competitive motorcycle for 2019. Also great to see Crew Halliday back in the factory Yamaha team, a team that he's no stranger to, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's good out there. Great qualifying from him as well, and great to see him on the front row of the grid.
He'll join Daniel Falzon, who we see there on the grid getting ready. Let's head down and hear from another legend, Troy Bayliss.
Troy, you crashed down that practice session yesterday. Great to see you A-OK. Obviously that bike wasn't. You sent that to heaven, jumped on a spare bike and still managed to put it on the second row. Well done.
Yeah, no, it's not such a bad position really, Emma, and you know, I was a little bit nervous this morning, but after that siding lap I feel good, I'm ready to go.
Go get him, well done.
Cheers.
Well, Troy Bayliss, he is looking so fit. He's seriously taken the off-season training to another level for 2019. Josh Waters, another rider that's great to see him back with Team Suzuki X-Star Australia. New teammate this year. That's going to be an interesting dynamic as well. But last year's round winner here at Phillip Island was Bryan Staring. He's back with BC Performance for the second year in a row. Didn't qualify well as he did last year. Last year he won the round.
Brian, obviously 10th not ideal for you, but let's not forget this time last year you started in 13th, managed to win a race and the round, so anything can be done.
Definitely anything can be done. Look, if the past was going to predict the future, I'd say that I'm going to be pretty competitive in this race, and I hope that's the way it plays out. We'll try and ride a smart race in the beginning and make sure I'm there at the end. We'll see how we go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the riders getting ready now to head off on the warm-up lap. Steve Martin, you'd have to be a real gambling man to try and pick a winner in this field. Although Aidan Wagner's been fast the entire weekend, there are so many riders that have shown glimpses of brilliance.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can win this. I mean, there's a field full of champions out there at the moment, and everybody's got a reason to win. It's the start of the race, and boy, it's going to be big.
It's the start of the season, and Aidan Wagner has qualified on pole position for this first round with Crew Halliday and Daniel Falzon, the two Yamaha racing team members, joining him on the first row of the grid. Josh Waters and his new teammate Wayne Maxwell bookend the second row of the grid with the three-time Superbike world champion Troy Bayliss in the middle.
Mad Mike Jones starts row 3 with the Australian champion from last year, Troy Herfoss, in 8th, and of course Glenn Allerton, who won here at MotoGP last year, in 9th. And then Bryan Staring, we heard from him before, Marcus Kyoto on the Honda as well, and Ted Collins on the BMW, round out row 4.
Yeah, especially you've even got Australian champions in Supersport and Superstock 1000 class, Matt Walters, back on the 5th row of the grid. Well, testing is over. Racing is about to get underway. The 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship for 2019 is go here at Phillip Island as the lights go on, and we are underway. Great start from the front row of the grid. Falzon's got a great jump. Look at Troy Bayliss. He's charging from the second row of the grid. Wayne Maxwell well positioned as well, where he's Arthur Cece's charging down the inside.
What a great start from Arthur Cece's. 15th up to about 5th or 6th. A brilliant start for him, but it's Bayliss out front where he needs to be. Daniel Falzon's up there too, and Wayne Maxwell's in that leading group. And the number 28's there too. Keep an eye on him, Aidan Wagner. He's got something to prove.
Well, you heard from Troy Bayliss on the grid when he spoke to Emma. He said starting from where he was on the second row wasn't a bad place to start. He's proved that 100% correct. He is glued to the ducktail of Daniel Falzon's Yamaha as they come down towards turn 4 and get on the brakes hard for the first time. Wagner comes up the inside of Josh Waters there in a late braking move. Bryan Staring has also got a pretty good start on board that BC Performance Kawasaki as well.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago, a young guy called Daniel Falzon won 3 out of 3 here on his privateer Cat Yamaha. He hasn't won on the factory Yamaha yet, but I'll tell you what, he'd like to put that right. He's in a perfect position with a perfect start here today.
Well, he's also got his brother John working the data for him again this weekend, just like he did back when he won those 3 races here. Look at Bayliss high and wide round the outside, almost speedway style. He's got perfect positioning down into turn 10 to take up the lead. He runs a fraction wide, but he's got the inside position as they head through turn 11 to come round. Only one more corner to go on this first lap, and the action is just as we expected. Hot, hot, hot from the start.
Yeah, well, Bayliss, he was fast here last year, but I tell you what, he nearly won last year, but this year he's out to prove a point and leading the first lap of the first race this year. What an incredible start by Troy Bayliss. He's already got a couple of bike lengths lead. I don't know if he can run away with this, but he's certainly looking pretty good at the moment. But one thing we do know, Phil, it is hard to run away with races here. Wayne Maxwell's moved himself up now into second position. Josh Waters in the back of that group too. Aidan Wagner's there. Bryan Staring as well. Mad Mike Jones is in that group too.
Wayne Maxwell at the test here just recently was the fastest man on the circuit, and that was with a recently broken collarbone. So nothing that he does this weekend is going to surprise me at all. He's moved up into second place now after just getting everything sorted on the first lap. He's back on the Suzuki, the bike that he won the Australian Championship with a few years ago. Aidan Wagner running very wide there down in towards turn 4. He was late on the brakes, just couldn't quite get the Landbridge Transport Yamaha turn. But I tell you what, he had no problem turning it in there up the inside of Bryan Staring.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryan Staring thought he was past, but not the case. Crew Halliday, what a great job from him in his comeback to the Superbikes as well. He's sitting right up there in third position, sitting pretty at the moment. And I'll tell you what, Bayliss hasn't been able to run away with this, Phil.
No, Maxwell's gone with him as they head up across the top of Lukey Heights for the second time. As you heard from Aidan Wagner on the grid, it is a 12-lap race. It is a sprint race. Bayliss has got an interesting line down there. In fact, that one was so interesting, he's run very wide. He's lost 3 places. He's back to third, and he's now got Aidan Wagner, fellow Queenslander, all over the ducktail of the Desmo Sport Ducati.
You've got to wonder if Bayliss has got some sort of issue. He had a massive crash yesterday, over 200 kilometres an hour, carrying a little bit of an injury from that. But is that playing on his mind at the moment? He's starting to make a few little mistakes.
Well, Maxwell leads as they come across the line. In second place was Crew Halliday, but it is now Troy Bayliss. I don't think there's anything wrong with his braking hand, that's for sure. Or did he just not use any brakes down in towards turn 1? But here comes Aidan Wagner. Look at the completely different lines of bike number 28. The Landbridge Transport Yamaha is taking completely different lines over these first 2 laps to most of the other competitors that are Superbike regulars. Aidan Wagner, this is his first race in the Australian Superbike Championship on board that Yamaha.
And in fact, it's his first time in racing for quite some time. He's been on the sidelines, but look at him go up the inside of Bayliss. Wagner is making a meal of this.
Well, you just showed how late you can break into turn 4. If you got the bike in there pretty cleanly up the inside of Troy Bayliss, who is a known late breaker and has taken up the running now, trying to chase down our early leader, Wayne Maxwell. Just looking back through the field, Bryan Staring and Daniel Falzon are having a little battle there over the places right behind Bayliss as they come up towards the top of the hill at Lukey Heights. Josh Waters on the second of the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia machines is still well placed right behind Bryan Staring.
How good does Maxwell look on that Suzuki? He's not doing anything wrong. The bike's not moving around. I know it's only early in the race, but he's not making any mistakes. And if you think back, who was unbeatable at Phillip Island a few years ago? Wayne Maxwell. It almost looks like he's back to that old form.
Well, they don't call him the Pharaoh of Phillip Island for nothing. Look at the speed he carries through turn 12, Maxwell, and out onto the straight now. Tucks in behind the screen, fires the brand new GSX-R 1000R down the straight. There doesn't look to be a lot of discrepancy in top speeds between all of those bikes in the lead group.
Bayliss is tucked in there as well. Just probably not quite as fast as the number 28, Aidan Wagner. Wagner up the inside. You can't pass there, can you?
You can, because he just did, but you see how out of control the bike was, but he managed to get it settled and into the corner, didn't lose any corner speed, and has got great drive out of the corner as well. That was a great effort from Aidan Wagner.
I guess that's the point, you know, like Aidan Wagner's been fast all throughout testing, but will he be able to keep this pace up throughout the race? I know that everybody else in the race has done length testing for the race distance. Will Aidan Wagner be able to keep it up? We'll find out soon.
I don't think there's anything wrong with his fitness, but what I am concerned about is the fact that he just left a massive black line around through turn 3. We're only on lap 4 of the 12-lap race, and he's already starting to use up a fair amount of that rear Pirelli slip.
Yeah, absolutely. He's certainly not holding back at the moment. He's giving it everything he's got. And I guess if you're a guy like that, Aidan Wagner, a privateer out the front of the race, it's what you've got to do. You want to showcase yourself, and he's just doing it beautifully at the moment, but there's still a long way to go of this 12-lap race.
Well, remember, we're here with the World Superbike paddock, Steve Martin. Remember, it was only a couple of years ago Aidan Wagner was in this paddock. He has a point to prove not only to the riders here in Australia, but also to the teams in the World Superbike paddock that he should still be there. And at the moment, he leads this quality field out onto the Gardner Straight. Maxwell in second, Bayliss in third, right behind Troy Bayliss. I think that is still the... It is the bike of Prix Halliday, bike number 65, but here comes Bryan Staring on the BC Performance Kawasaki. The brand new ZX10RR has been prepared by the team, and Staring is on a charge.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Bryan Staring. Usually, he's one of the few guys out in the field on the Dunlop tyres, and they seem to come good after about 5 laps. Staring's won at this circuit in the past, and he normally comes from about where he is now in the last half of the race. So expect to see Bryan Staring do something special soon.
Well, once again, you can see Aidan Wagner not scared to light up the rear end of the Landbridge Transport Yamaha. This is not a factory Yamaha like the bikes just a little bit further back in the field, ridden by Prix Halliday and Daniel Falzon. This is an all-privateer effort by Sam Costanza and his team from Queensland, doing a great job at the moment.
And once again, when was the last time we've seen a race this close with so many competitors? We've got 5 or 6 guys at the moment that can still win this, all the way back to Daniel Falzon there. It's incredible. Troy Herfoss at the back of that group. We haven't even mentioned him yet, last year's champion. Boy, he's having a bit of a tough weekend. Of course, doubling up, riding in World Superbikes as well this weekend. Not working out for him there, and I wonder if that's just perhaps hampering his performance in this race.
Well, you've read my mind, Steve Martin, because I just noticed him there on the back of this group as they came up towards the top of Lukey Heights. I think jumping from the world spec machine back to the Australian spec machine probably hasn't helped him this weekend. He's got to get the confidence back after the completely different setup required on both of those two motorcycles, but he's edging his way forward, and I'm pretty sure that he will be in the mix at some stage this weekend. Down in towards turn 1 now, we're on lap 6, half race distance. Oh, and Bayliss has hit the back of Wayne Maxwell's machine, and he's gone down at turn 1. There's no faster place to crash at Phillip Island, and that's Troy Bayliss' second big crash of the weekend. He looks like he just got in there a fraction hot, tagged the back end of Wayne Maxwell's Suzuki, and went down.
Boy, he's lucky to walk away from that, and Wayne Maxwell is lucky to get away with that. Normally, if you have a collision like that, both guys will go down. Wayne Maxwell will be wondering what happened, but Troy Bayliss, he certainly knows. He just got in there too deep, and I reckon if Maxwell wasn't there, he would have made it, but he just misjudged it a little bit. Let's have another look, Phil. He dives in. He's got good corner speed, just a bit close to the back wheel there. If he was an inch or two over, he would have made it, and he tried to go around the outside by the look of that.
I reckon Maxwell might have even had to get on the brakes a fraction, because Wagner run wide and then pulled the bike back online. I think Maxwell just had to get on the brakes a fraction more, caught Troy Bayliss by surprise, and unfortunately the 3-time Superbike world champion is down. His second crash of the weekend. He's already racing with one damaged finger. Let's hope he hasn't picked up any more injuries.
Prix Halliday there, he's caught right back up to the back of these 2 guys out front now, and I've got to say I'm super impressed with Halliday jumping off the 600 last year, the champion last year in the 600 class. He hasn't taken him long to adapt back to the Superbike.
Yeah, add him to the list of people with a point to prove. Aidan Wagner, as we mentioned, point to prove. Wayne Maxwell, point to prove. Back on the Suzuki, the bike that he won the championship with. Prix Halliday, back in the Superbike class, point to prove. Josh Waters wants to win another championship and be the first one to take 4 Australian Superbike championships in total. And Bryan Staring, he was the round winner last year. He's also a 3 times Australian champion. He wants to make it 4 as well.
Yeah, well, just with under half the race left to go, I'm not convinced that we're not going to see Staring up the front. And there he goes. He's on his charge up the inside of Josh Waters, who's had a bit of a quiet race. He's been there or thereabouts, but Staring on the way forward now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Josh Waters may be keeping the powder dry at the moment and waiting for the last few laps of this race, because there was some concern of how the tyres would last over the 12-lap distance due to the sprint nature of this race. Still, there's plenty more racing to go. We're on lap 7 of 12. Have a short break, come back for the continuation of action in race 1 of 2019. Welcome back to Phillip Island and the first race of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Continuing action here as Aidan Wagner leads Wayne Maxwell down in towards turn 4. We are on lap 8 of 12. Maxwell tries to go up the inside. Halliday also tries to go up the inside of Bryan Staring. It is on in earnest.
What a big bunch of passing manoeuvres now. These guys are really on the limit. We're coming to the business end of the race now. 4 laps left, Phil. If there's anything left in the tyres, now's the time to screw the throttle on and see what they've got, because I'll tell you what, the 2 guys out front are starting to make a bit of a break. There's a few bike lengths, probably the biggest gap that we've seen in this race. Bryan Staring now trying to get past Crew Halliday. Josh Waters is looking a little bit more menacing in the background there too, and of course Daniel Falzon, remember I said it before, he won here a couple of years ago. He's also joined the back of the party now.
There's only 1.3 seconds that covers this top 6, who have really made a breakaway from the rest of the field. The current field is led by Aidan Wagner and Wayne Maxwell, who have got a couple of bike length lead over the pack of 4 that are disputing the last place on the position. Look at that as they both wheel stand out onto the straight. Certainly no shortage of horsepower there. Maxwell, great use of the slipstream down the inside to take up the running at the front.
Yeah, great move into turn 1 there, Wayne Maxwell. He did get a brilliant drive out of turn 12, and he's made that move stick. But look at Wagner up the inside. You can't pass there. Yes, you can. He's done it again. We've seen it do him time and time again throughout this race. People are going to have to start closing the inside line, because Wagner can go anywhere on that Yamaha.
Well, and once again, a great example of completely different lines taken by the 2 riders, and 2 completely different riding styles as well. You have a look at Wagner. Wagner, he climbs all over the bike. Wayne Maxwell, very old school, just sits in the seat, goes up the inside of Wagner. That's how late you can break into turn 4 there for the Superbike rookie, making his debut appearance in the championship this year, and he comes back again. Oh, I can't wait for the rest of 2019. He's going to be absolutely gold if this action continues.
He is not scared to spin those rear tyres and slide the front tyres. It's incredible display watching him. Wayne Maxwell is so smooth there. You've got to think that he's got a little bit more tyre left than Wagner, because Wagner is just all over the place. Look at him there, up the hill there. He's just got that thing sliding everywhere, but does he back off? No.
Well, only one corner before that, he was 2-wheel drifting through the hay shed. So Wagner certainly has got a lot of confidence in the setup that Sam and the boys have delivered him for the Landbridge Transport Yamaha. He's not scared to get on the throttle, as you said. Maxwell looking quite composed right behind. And look who's now snuck his way up into 3rd place. It's Bryan Staring on board the BC Performance Kawasaki, bike number 67. He's come all the way from Western Australia for this, and he means business.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep an eye on Bryan Staring. He's won here before from this position. Normally, the Dunlops are a lot stronger in the last part of the race, so you've got to think now that he's in with a good chance of at least, if not getting a podium, but perhaps taking this one out, especially if these 2 guys up front start to play around with each other.
Actually, Bryan Staring was the only rider in the 32s on the last lap, Steve Martin, so he certainly is on a charge forward now, trying to get onto the back of Wayne Maxwell's Team Suzuki X-Star Australia machine. A great debut, regardless, for Wayne Maxwell on board the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia bike. There was some conjecture at the end of last year, where was Wayne Maxwell going to go? He's found a home, and he looks extremely happy there.
He looks extremely happy, and he looks extremely comfortable, and he looks really comfortable on that bike out there at the moment. Not a lot of movement there compared to Wagner. I mean, look at Wagner's bike. It's all over the show, and Wayne Maxwell just looks like he's biding his time, saving his energy to ride the bike the way that the number 28 is out there at the moment. It's just going to take up so much strength, you know, the bike's moving around, everything's moving around. It's going to be really hard to control. Maxwell, on the other hand, he's going to have a little bit more in hand, I reckon.
Well, you mentioned that he hadn't done a lot of racing. He's been doing a lot of motocrossing. That's exactly what he looks like he's doing now. Looks like he's going over the whoops and trying to get around berms at the moment, the way that he's manhandling that Yamaha YZF R1. as he comes round through turn 12, out onto the Gardner Straight, coming round to complete 10 laps of the 12-lap journey. They'll start lap 11 now. Maxwell tries to get the slipstream and looking for a move down in towards turn 1. Is that Crew Halliday right in the slipstream of Bryan Staring as well? Josh Waters can't be discounted. He looks like he might be ready to start launching an attack as well on the second of the Team Suzuki X-Star Australian machines.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Waters, he's definitely not far away, but you've got to say that he hasn't really had an attack in this race. He's been able to sit there, but he hasn't actually been able to attack. I'm sure that's something to look at. 3 races this weekend. He's got 2 more to go after this.
Crew Halliday on the last lap was the only rider in the 32s on board bike number 65, as I think that's Hamish McMurray that's about to get a short back and sides haircut from our lead group as they come around through turn 12.
Yeah, good to see. It looks like Hamish McMurray's moved out of the way. Good job there. All the leaders go through, which is good, not impeding on the race. Great job, Hamish, there. But once again, Wagner is getting waggly, wiggly, wiggly, woggly out of the Siberia.
It looks like Falzon's just dropped off the back of this lead group now, so we've got a lead group of 5 on the penultimate lap of the first race of 2019. Wagner currently leads, but as you mentioned, he is a fair bit out of shape across the top of Lukey Heights, and they're ganging up to try and mug him as they come down in towards turn 10. Maxwell, Staring, Crew Halliday and Josh Waters are all lining up to have a bit of a nibble.
Absolutely. There's definitely areas of the circuit where Wagner's very strong, especially down into turn 1. He's weak into Honda Corner, and that is a bad place to be weak because it's a good overtaking opportunity as we head into the last lap. But he has got a little bit of a gap on Maxwell now. I don't know, it's probably enough that Maxwell's not going to get passed down the straight this time. Maxwell's going to have to work for this. It's not going to be an easy pass into turn 1 for him.
Well, he certainly hasn't got any lack of top speed down the front, Aidan Wagner, either, because Maxwell couldn't use the slipstream to try and get close enough then. Staring is also trying to find a way past. We both know that both of those bikes are not slow. Just shows you how fast Wagner's privateer Yamaha is.
Yeah, supposedly a standard motor in that machine. I'll tell you what, it's pretty fast for a standard motor, but I know that bike is nothing special, pretty much just put together with some good quality kit parts that anybody can buy. So that's how good a privateer Yamaha is. He's gone wide, Wagner's gone wide, but he pulls it all together. That was the weak point for him. On the gas hard again he goes into Siberia for the final time. There's another back marker up ahead.
Well, they start the drive up the hill now to one of Wayne Maxwell's favourite overtaking manoeuvres. The dive up the inside as they come across the hill and down in towards turn 10. Wagner leads, Maxwell in second. Staring is also in position as well. If any of them make a small mistake, it could be Staring coming through for the win. But I think our top 3 have just done enough to get away from the riders behind in 4th and 5th place at the moment as they come across the hill. Maxwell not close enough. He's going to have to use the slipstream if he wants to take this win.
Oh, Maxwell, though, he closes up through mid-corner speed there. He's right on the back wheel now. Nice tight line. This is where Maxwell looks good out of here. Wagner's had a big moment. That could be enough for Maxwell. Maxwell up the inside. He's made it up the inside. It's side by side now, Phillip. They head onto the straight. Who's got the most powerful engine? Maxwell goes across the front. Maxwell's going to take this one out. Maxwell across the line, and Wagner in second position with Bryan Staring in third.
Yeah, great ride from Wayne Maxwell. He saw that moment from Aidan Wagner as they came out of turn 11, just kept on the throttle, pulled to a slightly tighter line and came around, had perfect position and great drive onto the straight. But what a race. What a way to start 2019. This is going to be one epic season of Superbike racing, and welcome back to Team Suzuki X-Star Australia, Wayne Maxwell.
And welcome to the Australian Superbike Championship, Aidan Wagner.
Well, what a start. Congratulations to all of our riders, because that was an epic way to start 2019. But look at this final corner of the first race. Maxwell perfectly positioned. Wagner out a little bit wide, and he got on the throttle and got a little bit out of shape here as well, did Wagner. You can see the front wheel came up, and that was just enough for Maxwell to get the head down and take a victory by a very slender margin. And look at the difference between Crew Halliday and Josh Waters. There was nothing in it. 4/100ths of a second between Halliday and Waters for 4th and 5th position. Daniel Falzon finished in 6th, Glenn Allerton in 7th, Mad Mike Jones in 8th, Troy Herfoss in 9th, and Matty Walters rounds out the top 10.
Some impressive names on page 2. Ted Collins in 11th, Marcus Kyoto on his Honda debut, and what about Maxi Croker in his debut in the Superbike class?
Yeah, 12th place is a great result for Max Croker, but what a result it is for all of the riders that finished that first race. A great way to start the season. It's now time to hear from our top 3. They're down in Park for May.
Bryan Staring in 3rd position. Well done, because we had the conversation prior to the race about how anything is possible with you. You came from 10th and finished in 3rd position. Well done.
Thank you. I think my response then was, if the past predicts the future, I should be pretty competitive. And, you know, we do so much racing at this circuit, and it's been a good circuit for me for a long time. So for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to always go away, because qualifying can have its difficulties, it's like yesterday. But anyway, that was like a bit of an exhilarating race, really. And yeah, I was trying so hard to come back at the front two at the end there. I was sort of closing the gap, losing it, closing it, losing it. But yeah, hopefully if we can refine our motorbike just a little bit more, we'll have a bit better crack at it for the next one.
Good luck for that one. Thanks, Bryan.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
In second position, our privateer started from pole. Fantastic battles with Wayne Maxwell, especially in those last few laps there. Well done, Aiden. How do you feel with second?
Yeah, I'm happy with second. It's good for the team to be on the podium, our first round for the year. I made a mistake there on the last lap between 11 and 12, which cost me the win. Well done to Wayne and Bryan. They rode awesome, you know. But overall, as a package, the Lambridge Racing bike, it's working really well. The K-Tech suspension and all the boys have put together an unreal ride for me this weekend. So hopefully we just put it on the top step.
Good luck. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
And in first position, our winner for the very first race for round one here at Phillip Island, Team Suzuki X-Star is back on a Suzuki. He's looking very, very happy. Wayne Maxwell, well done. Epic battles, especially in those last few laps with Aiden. The elbows were certainly out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I rocket off to a good start on the Team Suzuki X-Star G6R, and yeah, you know, and I had good speed at the start, and then got the grip dropped a bit, and I was like unsure. Aiden came past with a head of steam, and I was like, holy shit, he's getting after it. So I was like, I better get onto it. So I picked up my pace in the areas, and where he was really strong, I was weak, so I was like exaggerating it. So where I was strong, I had to not over try, because I was obviously already on the limit. Keep calm, and yeah, lucky enough to deliver first race, first win for Team Suzuki X-Star.
Great work, thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Great to hear from our top three. Congratulations to them. Well, earlier on in the weekend, Emma caught up with a very interested spectator here at Phillip Island, former World Supersport champion, World Superbike race winner, and Australian Chris Vermeulen.
Well, this man needs no introduction. Chris Vermeulen, with all of your racing experience, welcome to our pit lane. How do you rate the competition for 2019 in the ASBK?
I've been watching a lot of the off-season stuff, the pre-season testing. There's a lot of excitement around new bikes, you know, riders moving and everything. It's so close. It's so hard to pick at the moment, and I think that's really good for ASBK. We saw last year's championship went nearly down to the wire. Herfoss was maybe not the fastest guy everywhere, but very consistent. But this year, I think he's got his work cut out. You know, Suzuki's are strong. Troy Bayliss is here. He's fit. He's 49 years old and he's focused. ASBK looks as strong as ever, and I think it's an exciting championship. Can't wait to watch it.
Certainly bigger and better this year. So while I've got you talking about the championship, what is your tip for 2019?
Yeah, you put me on the spot there. Look, I'm really excited about Wayne Maxwell on the Suzuki. I think he hasn't had many days on the bike yet. He looks fast already. Yeah, he's going to be my outside tip, and fingers crossed for him.
From racing to TV, just like my co-host Steve Martin, how have you been enjoying that challenge?
It's different, it's unique. I love it. I love motorcycling, obviously. I don't know much about TV, but the MotoGP is going from strength to strength. We're enjoying showing it on Fox Sports, and yeah, loving it. Can't wait for this season as well.
You do a fantastic job. So thank you very much for catching up with us, and enjoy the season.
Thanks, Emma. Good to see you.
Phillip Island is one of the most iconic tracks in the world. World Superbike race here, MotoGP come here every year, but it's also a place that guys and girls at home can come and do a track day. But I don't know about you guys, sometimes when I get down here and go for a bit of a ride, I don't really know the way around. We asked some of our top riders to tell us some of their secrets in getting this track right.
For me, Steve, pretty much like there's a lot of change direction here on the throttle, and trying to get the balance right and stuff pretty easily whether, you know, the bike's, if it's not feeling so good, it's going to be sitting down like on the back, and straight away I know, like, you know, I get that feeling where, okay, this isn't working to how I like it, and we know we need to make a couple of little adjustments to make it turn better on the gas. Otherwise it's just too hard work, because she's a long way around here, and that's something that I look for. You always end up a little bit softer here on the front, maybe a little bit harder on the back, and yeah, we started off reasonably close, and we had that same feeling. I felt like the back was sitting a little low, so we're just making a couple of little adjustments, and it should be good.
I think trust. I've been with the same guys for a lot of years, and when Clarkey tells me we've we've got the match setting in, and I've got faith that I can go and ride the bike to the best of my ability. That's probably it, really. I mean, you try your best to work out ways in your head to go faster, but when you've got trust in the guys you're working with, it makes it a lot easier.
I really enjoy the circuit, the layout, the fast-flowing nature of the circuit. And it sounds silly because all the tracks are tar, but the tar here is better than the majority of the circuits we get to race on throughout the year. I'm sure they'll all love it. You know, there's the most famous riders in the world. This is their favourite circuit, so it's one of my favourite that I've ever ridden around. So just enjoy the experience.
For me, when Phillip Island, the bike's handling good. When you go into turn 12 and you can keep the throttle on all the way, you don't have to completely shut it down to get the bike turning in. You know that it sets you up for a good lap, and from there, it's just a matter of committing and holding the throttle wide open.
Well, I'd say you've got to hit every apex of this circuit. It's so fast and unforgiving. Another one, turn 12. If you can't feel the G-forces pulling your head towards the floor as you put down the throttle, then you're not going fast enough.
I reckon the trick is to not come off the throttle. Obviously you need to brake, but when you get the bike to transfer enough that you don't need to come all the way off the throttle and you can get it to turn and you get the bigger percentage of the lap time with the throttle on, that's what I reckon does it.
Yeah, for me, when I come out of Southern Loop, you hook 2 gears on the Superbike, so you're in 5th gear and you're flat out, and then when the bike's right, I can turn it from a wide angle into Stoner Corner and make it to the apex and not have to close the throttle off. I can still trail a lot of throttle, and then by the time I'm at the apex, I've got full throttle again, which is pretty cool to do at 250 k's an hour with your knee on the ground, so yeah, I love it.
Well, there you have it. Plenty of secrets spilled there. But the main secret that I took, or the main thing that I took from what the guys had to say was this. To go fast at Phillip Island, all you've got to do is keep that wide open.
And if anyone would know about keeping the throttle open here, Steve Martin, it would be you. You recently tasted a fair amount of success here, only a couple of weeks ago yourself.
Yeah, I mean, this place, it's like all the guys said, it feels fantastic when everything's going right and when the bike's right and you're in a good frame of mind. But I'll tell you what, one thing out of kilter and it's a nightmare to get right. You run wide everywhere, so everything those guys said is pretty much on the money.
Well, one man that's in a very good frame of mind at the moment is race 1 winner Wayne Maxwell. He will line up down there on the second row of the grid, but there is a lot of other riders that really want to take it to him in this second race. Let's go down to the grid and hear from some of our stars.
Josh, starting from the second row, a couple of things in your favour. Firstly, you do get great starts, and secondly, you absolutely love this track and do very well here.
In race 1, I didn't get a very good start, so I need to do better than that. But I was happy with my pace. I just was too far back at the start, and my pace was just the same as the guys in the lead. So made a few changes for this race, try my hardest, and that's all I can do.
Good luck, Josh.
Well, anyone think that Josh Waters had a bad race in the first one? He wasn't that far off the pace. He ended up finishing 1 second behind the race lead. So a small change could be what it takes to see the 3-time champion back in the mix. Let's head back down to the grid.
Daniel Falzon, I know you were just a little bit behind the pace in that last one. Strategy for this one?
Yeah, I've had a few little bike changes this round, but this race, sorry. However, not many major changes. Don't want to be making big changes before another race. A bit of a mindset change, and I think we can really give this one a bit of a crack. Just need to get another good start.
Good luck.
Thanks, Emma.
Well, Daniel Falzon smiling, that's always a good sign. He was in the mix as well in race number 1 and will be a threat in race 2. There's the man that's got the biggest smile on his face, our race 1 victor, Wayne Maxwell. He's ready for action once again. A vacant grid position next to him though on the grid.
Crew Halliday, this competition is very, very tough. We've already seen some epic battles in race 1.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, 4th place in that first one. I was a bit disappointed, but you know, at the same time, my goal at this round was to come top 5. You know, try to gather as many points. You know, it's unfortunate TB isn't in this race, but yeah, it's still going to be cracking competition. You know, I think Wayne and Aiden are the ones that to beat this race.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, you could notice right behind Crew Halliday there, as Emma was talking to him, a vacant position on the grid. No Troy Bayliss. The injury to his hand has proved, and the damage to his motorcycle has proved too much, and he's not out there on the grid for this second race. The grid will be in pole position Aidan Wagner. In second place, Crew Halliday, and Daniel Falzon rounds out the front row of the grid with Josh Waters and Wayne Maxwell on row 2.
Row 3 is Mad Mike Jones, Troy Herfoss, and of course Glenn Allerton, and then Bryan Staring. We saw him come from 10th last time out up onto the podium. Marcus Kyoto and Ted Collins.
You're looking back through the field, a couple of riders to keep your eye on as well. Max Croker making his debut this weekend on that Matt Maloden Motorsports Suzuki, finished just outside the top 10. And Al Phillip, the third rider in the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia machine, bike number 8. Keep an eye on him trying to charge his way through the pack as well. As we get ready to go into the starters' hands, race 2 for 2019 gets underway, and we are away with a great start there from the front row of the grid. Falzon's got a pretty good jump off the line. Can he keep the momentum going? That's what he didn't do in race number 1. As they head down towards the turn 1 area for the first time. It is Josh Waters that sweeps across the front of the field and takes up the running at the front.
I reckon Troy Herfoss is up there too. Herfoss has got an absolute cracker of a start, and that's what he needs. He's had a pretty dismal weekend up to this point, so good to see Troy Herfoss. He's moved up into second place now, just behind Josh Waters. Waters said he needed the start. He's got it this time, Phil.
Well, Herfoss from the third row of the grid. What a cracking start from the reigning Australian champion on the Penrite Honda. The first time we've really seen him this weekend, Steve Martin, and what a place to do it. Down in towards turn 4 for the first time. It is Aidan Wagner up the inside. Herfoss gets pushed a fraction wide, and 3, 4, 5 riders make their way through.
Yep, well, he's got all the work to do. There's Marcus Kyoto's just up there behind him too now. That's the first time we've seen him on track on the Honda. So Marcus Kyoto just starting to come to grips with that new CBR 1000.
Yeah, he's trying to follow his teammate as they make their way up towards the Hayshed and then the top of Lukey Heights. It is that Mad Mike Jones making a, possibly one-off guest appearance. Who knows what Mad Mike Jones can do. He's still trying to source a ride overseas, but we'd love to have him back here in Australia, riding the K&R Hydraulics Privateer. Kawasaki this weekend. Kyoto, big move up the inside. Crew Halliday, big move down the inside of Mad Mike Jones as well. It's all action on this first lap in towards turn 10.
I tell you what, we've talked plenty about who's won here in the past, and one guy that was looking super strong at this circuit last year at the final round was the man leading the race, Josh Waters. He was untouchable in the last race until he crashed on that final corner, but Waters has certainly got some creed around this circuit.
Well, Phil Tainton has been working hard on that bike in between races, and whatever he's done, waving his magical wand across Josh Waters' machine, looks to be going pretty well because he got great drive out of turn 12, but Wagner has just put his favourite move on. That's one of his favourite places in turn 1 to overtake up the inside on an extremely tight line in towards turn 2. How does he keep the momentum going there, Steve Martin?
He not only just gets past, he gets past and pulls 4 or 5 bike lengths. It's an incredible overtaking manoeuvre he's got, but here he's always too wide. And once again, Waters up the inside. He's got to work on that line, but he manages to carry that corner speed. He always has got that line in here too. He's deep on here, but Waters up the inside. Now, Waters is not giving up too easy. He wants this. Josh Waters is fighting for victory here, but Wagner's got a clear advantage in front at the moment.
Well, Josh Waters would never have raced Aidan Wagner before. They didn't really race together in race number 1 either because there was always a couple of bikes in between them. This is the first time they've actually gone head-to-head, and Wagner's completely different lines to what a normal Superbike rider would take. Looks to be just something for a bit of concern at the moment for Josh Waters as he tries to figure out places to get past and where he doesn't have to worry about trying to block the inside as he comes round through turn 11 and through turn 12. Once again, a great demonstration of the completely different lines of the bikes, the lines being taken by Wagner on 28 and Josh Waters on 21. And look who's arrived on the scene, the fair old Phillip Island race 1 winner, Wayne Maxwell.
It didn't take him long to get there, but it's 3 wide on the front straight now with Daniel Falzon not far behind, and Wayne Maxwell leads on lap 3.
What did they do? Graft an extra cylinder onto that bike of Wayne Maxwell. Did you see the drive he got out of turn 12? He didn't even use the slipstream. He just went blasting on by his teammate and Aidan Wagner, and he's brought one of the Yamaha factory machines along for the party. That's Daniel Falzon.
Well, look, you can imagine how nervous Maxwell was in race 1. First race on the Suzuki. He didn't want to fall off it. He wanted to get that victory. He got a victory. Now he's riding with pure confidence. He's got the runs on the board. Now he's going to show the boys what it's all about.
Well, it's 2 Suzukis leading from 2 Yamahas and a 3rd Yamaha about to join the freight train as well. Then it's the 2 Hondas. Is that Mark Kyoto actually leading his teammate Troy Herfoss as they came down towards Siberia corner to then start the long run up the hill?
Yeah, well, Mark Kyoto, he's really adapting to that CBR Honda. Made the switch from Suzuki last year, and I'll tell you what, Hasn't taken him long at all. He's done a bit of testing. He's tested at a few different tracks. He's probably ridden it around here at Phillip Island too. In fact, we had the pre-season test a couple of weeks ago, so he's had to ride one of those things around here. But I would say that's the closest that he's been to the front of a Superbike race in as long as I can think of. So they head out now on lap 3, and it is Wayne Maxwell. A little bit of a bubble there, but he still leads with Josh Waters. A Suzuki 1-2 at the moment. I'll tell you what, that's just the way the Team Suzuki boys like it.
Well, as they come around onto the Gardner Straight, if that was Kyoto ahead of Herfoss, normal station has been resumed with Troy Herfoss on bike number 1 getting ahead now. And Mad Mike Jones has actually passed Mark Kyoto as well and trying to make his way forward as we come through turn 1. Oh, one of them's wide. I think that may be Herfoss. Herfoss has run wide at turn 1 and has lost 3 positions.
Yeah, once again, this weekend is just not working out for Troy Herfoss. He had a bad year here last year, and it looks like this one's going to be pretty similar at the moment. But meanwhile, back out front, it's the business as usual. Aidan Wagner leads them down into turn 4. Up the inside goes Waters. Looking at that inside line, Wagner is so wide there. Crew Halliday nearly runs up the backside of Wayne Maxwell there.
Well, you see also too, because of Wagner's strange line, Waters had to slow down mid-corner. That was why Crew Halliday nearly ran into the back of one of the Team Suzuki X-Star Australian machines, because there was that concertina effect mid-corner, and Falzon has now been overtaken by his teammate Crew Halliday, who's also on a charge forward and trying to make his way up onto the back of his former teammate Wayne Maxwell.
Don't get me wrong, Wagner's lines work, but 50% of the time he goes in wide and 50% of the time he goes in tight.
And that's the thing what we're saying, and Josh Waters just doesn't know where he's doing that, because he didn't really race against him close quarters in race number 1 like Maxwell did, and also Crew Halliday and Daniel Falzon.
Well, he's had a little bit of time to see what the fuss is all about now, because he spent this whole race dicing with Wagner out the front.
And let's just say there's a fair amount of fuss, Steve Martin, and if these first race and a half is any indication of what the issue is going to be like, I'm going to be glued to the screen for the entire 7 rounds of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship, because it is going to be absolutely epic viewing as Wagner leads the field, Waters in second, Maxwell in third, Daniel Falzon back up to fourth, and Crew Halliday it's Crew Halliday still in fourth place, and Daniel Falzon in fifth.
Looks like Mad Mike Jones is starting to join the fray too. We didn't see too much of him in race 1, but he's certainly just on the back of the screen now, so good to see Mike Jones. He seems to be improving race after race, and in fact he's in front of Bryan Staring at the moment, so good job from Mad Mike.
Oh, there looks like a little bit more contact down there at turn 4. There's certainly going to, a bit of paint swapping has been taking place there every single lap as they come around through Siberia and start to drive up the hill once again. Who's got the run up the hill? This is in the first race where I was surprised that Aidan Wagner was two-wheel drifting it through Siberia, almost with his elbow down, whereas Maxwell, who's now moved up into second place, was looking relatively composed. You heard from him in the post-race interview. He had to concentrate on the places where he was fast and not push it over the limit. As we see a replay here, Maxwell up the inside of his teammate and then almost tagged the back end of Wagner, who was in that typical wide line, and then cutting back across the front. Oh, that's Falzon down. That's turn 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the end of the race for Falzon. Not where he needed to be at this time of the year. It's important to get points here at Phillip Island, but he's just thrown a bag full of points down the road.
And the second one of our high-profile riders that was a serious championship challenger, losing points early on in the season, just like Wayne Maxwell did in 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately for Falzon, that's his day over, but he's got one more shot because it's a triple header this time out.
Back to the on-track action now. It is still Aidan Wagner that leads. Crew Halliday has moved up into second place, and Wayne Maxwell is in third. Waters is still there in fourth. They've opened up a bit of a gap now over the battle behind. Oh, that's Crew Halliday has tagged the back end of Aidan Wagner. Halliday lucky not to go down. Maxwell has taken the lead. Wagner lucky to stay upright as well, and Josh Waters is now sitting in third place. Oh, there's so much action in this race. It is unbelievable, Steve Martin.
Tell me, is this the last lap or are we only halfway through this?
No, this is lap 6 of 12.
Absolutely incredible. Wagner was so lucky to stay on the inside of that bike, then he almost fell off, and so did the number 65 Crew Halliday. But luck was on their side and everyone back, but Crew Halliday has lost a lot of ground. Wayne Maxwell's happy though because he's back out in front.
Yeah, the two Kawasaki's are starting to make their way forward as well. Mad Mike Jones and Bryan Staring not too far behind. Here's a replay. Wagner got so sideways into the corner. Halliday tried to go up the inside, but once again, the late apex of Aidan Wagner just caught Crew Halliday out. How he stayed on that motorcycle, only Crew Halliday and his launderer know how.
Well, look at that, number 28. Once again, Aidan Wagner gets it a little bit wiggly as he heads down the straight.
Time for an update from the pits. Let's head down there and see what's happening in pit lane.
Just here with Phil Tainton from Team Suzuki X-Star, and I tell you what, that battle is on. Great to see that both Josh and Wayne are in the top 3 at the moment, though.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. It's what we hope for, of course, as every team hopes for one, two finishes, but you know, anything can happen out there. We made a few slight changes to Josh's bike, and he seems to be liking it. So I just hope they can get up the front again.
Good luck, thanks, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Anything can happen out there, says Phil Tainton. He's not wrong. Bryan Staring's just gone up the inside of Mad Mike Jones. They haven't hit each other and they've stayed both upright. It's amazing, Steve Martin.
Absolutely, but I'll tell you what, Mad Mike certainly found his feet, and Bryan Staring, who you would have to say up to this point has been the leading Kawasaki in the championship, has got a little bit of competition on his hands in the form of Mad Mike.
Well, and Bryan Staring's on the brand new RR model. Mad Mike Jones is on a 2-year-old privateer Kawasaki, the K&R hydraulics machine that's been campaigned previously by Matt Harding, and doing a great job this weekend. Doing also a great job is Wayne Maxwell, who currently leads the race on bike number 47 with Aidan Wagner, who's had more incidents than you can poke a stick at in the first half of this race, most of them down at turn 4, so currently sitting in second place on board bike number 28. And he's got the Wagner soil testing on the side of the bike. Let's hope that there's no more soil testing in this race.
Well, he's certainly looking pretty tidy this time round, but look at that, straight past Wayne Maxwell into turn 1. He takes that wide line, and Maxwell has to settle for second, but dives up the inside there, not much you can do. Josh Waters looking a lot more competitive this time out. Crew Halliday trying to close down that gap too. He's still got that 2 or 3 bike lengths that he lost last time out. It's going to be difficult for him to come back from there. In fact, he's going to have to watch out because those Kawasaki's are closing in.
Well, I think Crew Halliday was actually pretty fast over the second half of that lap where he had that incident, because he's made up a lot of that distance. As Wagner goes into the lead, starts to charge out towards the Siberia corner with Maxwell and Josh Waters. You can see then different lines from Waters. He's obviously feeling a lot more comfortable than he did in race 1, and he looks like he is a serious challenger for the race win in race number 2 in the Kawasaki Superbike class.
Yeah, absolutely. There was 3 different lines from 3 different riders heading to Siberia that time out. I'm telling you, this is almost like a last lap every lap.
Well, we're on lap 8. We need to keep our composure, because after this race, after this lap, there will still be 3 more laps of this excitement to go. Well, let's take a quick breath. We'll have a short break and come back on the other side of this break with the exciting final stages of Kawasaki Superbike race number 2. Welcome back to Phillip Island and continuing action from the Kawasaki Superbike class of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Aidan Wagner currently leads Wayne Maxwell on 47 and Josh Waters on 21. We are on lap 9 of 12, but Crew Halliday is the man on a charge at the moment. He was 1.1 seconds behind this group at the start of, at the finish of lap 8, and he is now very, very close to them as they make their way towards the top of the hill.
Yeah, incredible lap times by Crew. Fastest lap in this race, almost as quick as his qualifying time, but meanwhile, Kawasaki's, look at that style of Mike Jones, it's unmistakable. He's shadowing the number 67 Bryan Staring on the BC Performance Kawasaki at the moment, and you've got to think that that would be a scalp that he wants to take.
Well, it won't be disappointing if Mad Mike Jones doesn't pick up a ride overseas, and we get the pleasure of watching him here in Australia in 2019, because he has been on fire at the first round, and it's great to see him back racing a competitive motorcycle here in Australia. Wagner leads, Maxwell in the slipstream. Can he pull out and make a move down in towards turn 1? It is very close. They rub elbows on the run into the ripple strip. Wagner just lets off the brakes and cuts back across the front of Wayne Maxwell.
He's got no fear. Wagner has no fear. Look at him. He makes up 1 or 2 bike lengths. He goes in wide this time, cuts across. He's still holding that 2 bike lengths, manages to turn it on the dime, on the gas, nice and early, heading out of the southern loop and down into Casey Corner. Now he goes. Once again, flat out. He's really fast through these fast corners, but so is Wayne Maxwell. Now this is where I reckon the other guys have got an advantage. Look at it. They all look up the inside there. Everyone's going to think about passing Aidan Wagner right there.
2 laps ago, we thought Crew Halliday was out of the action there after that incident with Aidan Wagner. On the last lap, he was 0.6 of a second faster than the leading trio, and he's now right with them and right back in the game as they make their way up towards the hay shed. Look at bike number 65. He is on a charge, red mist visor, fully engaged.
You know what? He's won Superbike races before, has Crew Halliday, but this is the best I've seen him ride a Superbike.
Well, he's looking hungrier than ever, and he's about to start munching away on the back of Josh Waters' machine. He's down the inside, Crew Halliday. He gets the bike stopped, he gets it turned, and he fires it out, and he doesn't run too wide. He's a little bit out of shape on the exit, but it doesn't matter. He's now up and running in 3rd position behind Wayne Maxwell as they come round. This will be the completion of lap 10. There will be 2 more laps to go, and Crew Halliday has positioned himself perfectly for a last couple of lap charge.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great pass on Josh Waters, but Waters has got the slipstream. Can he get past down the straight? It looks like he does. Touch! They touch on the main straight. Maxwell backs off. Wagner holds the lead, and it's Crew Halliday still in 3rd position now. It doesn't get much closer than this with a couple of laps to go.
There was literally 1/10 of a second between the lap times of this leading 4 at the moment, and just having a look at the gap behind, I don't think Bryan Staring and Mad Mike Jones have managed to close that gap down anymore, and they are still battling for Kawasaki supremacy in positions 5 and 6 at the moment as we head through Stoner Corner and down to turn 4 for the penultimate time.
Well, you can throw your lap times out the window now. They don't count. It's all about track position and who's brave, and I'll tell you what, Aidan Wagner seems to be pretty brave out there at the moment.
And also, who has got the most rear tyre left?
Absolutely. Well, we know that Wagner doesn't mind that thing moving around, and boy, it's looking pretty smooth at the moment, but he's had it all over the place. Once again, he takes that tight line. This is where he's fast. He's super fast through the hay shed. He really does have a good line through there, but Maxwell is not giving up. Maxwell's on the back. He's already won race 1, and you know what? He's going to go for it again here, I reckon.
Just looking at it as we come up on some back markers now, and Wagner to me looks to be taking more 600 style lines because that's where he's come from. He's raced Supersport here in Australia for many years. He's raced World Supersport. There's Dominic De Leon getting a short back and sides as they come up through turn 11. Let's just hope that none of our leading group have lost any distance there. Halliday, Waters, they're still all there. So we still have a group of 4 making our way through turn 12 and down onto the Gardner Straight. They will start the last lap. The last lap board will be out, and our current leader, Aidan Wagner, pulls out of the slipstream of Evan Biles, and Maxwell pulls out of the slipstream of Aidan Wagner down in towards turn 1.
And through to the front, Wagner holds it still, breaks late into that final corner on the final lap. He's going to give it everything he's got. We saw what he could do last time. He gave it everything. The number 47 behind, but how close are they? Crew Halliday, he's there too. He's ready to attack. Josh Waters certainly isn't going to want to see Wayne Maxwell finish in front of him again. There's a lot to lose here and a lot to win.
Unlike race 1, Josh Waters is well and truly in the mix for this race win. The changes that Phil Tainton and the team have made to that bike has obviously got it a lot more composed, and his lap speed is a whole lot better.
Another back marker.
Up the inside of Hamish McMurray, and Maxwell has got the better drive. I think Wagner got caught out a bit there, and Maxwell has taken the lead. And look at Crew Halliday. He tries to go around the outside of Wagner on the run into Siberia. Just couldn't quite get that job done. Oh, Wagner's out of the seat.
And he follows it up with a big wheelie, and Crew Halliday goes up the inside of the hay shed. That's a big move. Wagner.
What was that?
Wagner around the outside. That's given Maxwell a little bit of a break. He's got a little bit of a break. 1 bike length, not really enough at this point, but when Maxwell's in front from here, it's his to lose. Wagner looks up the inside. He can't do it. Maxwell's got the line.
Oh, Wagner was so late on the brake. He had the front end drifting there. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff from him in this race, but that was about as good as it gets through the hay shed around the outside of Crew Halliday.
He's smooth through there as he throws it in, but look, Wagner's gone up the inside. Wagner's through. Wagner's touched. They've touched. He's down. Maxwell is down. That's a big one.
Oh, there is not much left of that Suzuki JSX-R as it comes into contact with the wall, and Aidan Wagner takes the checkered flag and the race win for race number 2. Do you reckon he's happy about that?
Wow, what a win. But Maxwell, let's hope that he's all right after that one. That is as big as it gets here at Phillip Island. He's pulled his glove off. I hope he's okay.
Well, and also remember, Wayne Maxwell came into this round with a freshly broken collarbone, and now he's got a freshly broken GSX-R 1000 as well. That was a big incident. Let's have a look at the replay. Maxwell was leading as they came out of turn 12. It looks like he runs a fraction wide as they enter into turn 12, but that's pretty much his line. Wagner saw a gap, went for it up the inside, and unfortunately it looked like he just hit Wayne Maxwell's elbow. That was enough for Maxwell to go down. You can see there he just hit the elbow and then his shoulder, and that was enough to put Maxwell off at what, 220 odd kilometres an hour?
Yeah, 200, definitely 210 plus, but that is as big as it gets. And He's lucky to get up and walk away from that. Plenty of people have sustained injuries. Let's hope that he's okay. You can see he goes for that wrist, and let's not forget that he just had that collarbone done, Phil. So, you know, let's hope that that's okay as well. He's still got another race to get through, but he's lost a valuable amount of points.
Well, here he is coming up towards Park for May. I think he just congratulated Wayne Maxwell, Aiden Wagner, and let him know what he's in for in the future there. Man, a few words, Wayne Maxwell, but there was a couple of very terse words there, I think. Maxwell doesn't take the win in race 2, can't back it up from race 1, but it is Aiden Wagner that takes the win from Crew Halliday in second. We said he was on a charge, and Josh Waters rounds out the podium, his first podium at 2019.
Bryan Staring won that Kawasaki battle, finishing 4th with Mike Jones in 5th, and then of course Troy Herfoss, a good result for him, 6th.
Glenn Allerton in 7th, Matt Walters in 9th, and Glenn Scott rounds out the top 10 in another epic Superbike race. Well, race 3 is coming up this afternoon. Everyone probably needs to cool down a little bit. Let's head down to Park for May, hear what they have to say.
Josh Waters in 3rd position. Great to see you on the podium. I told you absolutely love this track. You do very well here. The battle was on, especially in those last few laps, and it was definitely a very entertaining race. Well done.
Yeah, I was happy with the improvements we made with the bike. I'm for sure in race 3 it will be even stronger. So, long championship. I just need to keep my head down, bum up. Huge thanks to Team X-Star Suzuki and all my personal sponsors.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Well done. In 2nd position, Crew Halliday. And certainly ever-changing it was, especially in those last 3 laps of the top 3. Congratulations. Well done on being on the podium.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. I sort of made it hard for myself then. You know, I didn't get the best of starts and I got sort of swamped. I'm not sure what I fell back to, but yeah. And then I made another mistake with Aiden. He went a little bit wide and he just come out the vision of my helmet, and I thought I had a clear run. He just come back through. You know, it's a racing incident, but yeah, I'm not really sure what happened in the last turn. There's going to be a bit of a hustle about those two, but I'm just staying out of it. You know, I just need to stay on the bike, get as many points as I can. We've done that so far. Put it on the box. I wasn't really expecting it this weekend, but you know, hats off to the team, Kev Marshall and the Flapper, my dad, and Plummy. You know, they work exceptionally, and you know, hats off to them. The bike's working flawlessly.
Good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
And in 1st position, our winner for race number 2 here at Phillip Island, the privateer Aiden Wagner. A few little incidents, a few little bumps, a few elbows were thrown. Take us through those last few laps.
Yeah, that was one of the more crazy races I've been in a long time. There was a lot of bar banging and rubbing, and whatever happened in turn 12, Wayne left the door open, and I took opportunity about that. I didn't mean to run into him or make contact, but you know, we've been making contact the whole race down the straight in other corners. I think Prix ran over my arse at one point, you know, but that's racing. I'll buy him a beer after this. Wayne's always been good to me. I didn't mean to take him out in any way, but got the race win this afternoon on the privateer Yamaha, and I can't thank the team enough. Yeah, baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pretty happy Aiden Wagner. Well, let's have a look at a replay of the most talked about incident in race number 2. You can make up your own mind what actually happened. As we see Maxwell dive into turn 12, he runs a fraction wide, but that's his line. Wagner comes up the inside, there is contact, and Maxwell goes down. Was there a big enough gap? Was Wayne Maxwell at fault? Was Aiden Wagner at fault?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I'm sure these two riders are going to have a difference of opinion over that, and we'll just have to wait and see what comes out in the wash.
Well, as Crew Halliday said, he's going to stay right out of it, and that's probably the best way to do it. Let's go down to Emma.
Wayne, tough luck. Thanks for talking to me. I know you're really frustrated. Can you take us through what happened?
Oh, look, Aiden ran wide at turn 4 on the last lap, made a nice clean pass, and yeah, went in the last corner, and I'd just come back to get the apex, and he just took my bar, and down I went. So, you know, it's pretty forceful. Definitely, you know, contact at a 4th gear turn is probably a little bit unacceptable. So anyway, that's racing. He got the win. Congratulations to those guys, and yeah, I look forward to tomorrow's race and the rest of the year.
Thanks, Wayne. Good luck.
Still has a full head of steam, Wayne Maxwell, after that incident at turn 12. It's going to be an interesting season. It's also going to be an interesting season for the 2019 YMI Supersport 300 class. They've got a fair bit to live up to in regard to the action that's been put on in this class over the last couple of years. and we're off to a great start as they made their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. This massive field was led by Seth Crump on board bike number 57, the KTM RC390.
Yeah, it was good to see Seth Crump out front. He's come on very strong in the last part of last year, but we had some crashes early on. You can see in the background there, one of the new Kawasaki 400s biting the dust early on.
Yeah, that was Taylor Ralph, caused the red flag stoppage, and we got underway for a complete restart of race number 1. And it wasn't long before Max Stouffer and Luke Power managed to make their way towards the front of the field and start to pull away from the rest of the riders making their way in this battle for the final place on the podium. Lockie Taylor on board bike number 151 was in there as well, along with Harry Curry and also Senna Agius, who was last year riding the Asia Talent Cup.
Johnny Littress is making his way forward, passing Callum Bryan as well, but back out front, it's not very often you see two guys break away like this, but Luke Power and Maxi Stauffer had a bit of a dice of their own. They were on it.
Yeah, they certainly were, and unlike most of the time, Steve Martin actually looked to be working in a bit of a team. Max Stauffer used the slipstream to absolute perfection and just pants Luke Power on the line to take the first win of the weekend on board bike number 27. Luke Power on 68, a great debut for him here at Phillip Island in 2019. Race 2 got underway with all the same protagonists at the front. Max Stauffer led them down through turn 4, and well placed was race 1 early leader Seth Crump on board bike number 57.
Yeah, it was a KTM 1-2 at the start of that one, but then Seth Crump started to go back through the pack. It was good to see Taylor Ralph could get back out there as well for that last crash, but then we had another crash. Hunter Ford went down, and boy, that was a big one in this class. Got tangled up there, and that was the end of his day.
Yeah, considering the closeness of the racing action this weekend and over the last couple of years, there hasn't been a real lot of crashes in this class. Maxi Stauffer managed to once again thread the needle, make his way to the front, but making his presence felt on his return to Australia was Senna Agius on board bike number 81 and doing a great job in his debut in this class.
But coming into the final turn, it was Johnny Littress. He thought he had it won, but there was a gaggle of riders behind him, and one of them was Maxi Stauffer. Look at the slipstream Maxi Stauffer gets. Keep an eye on the right of your screen. Once again, he wins by a whisker. That's 2 out of 2 so far for Max Stauffer.
Yeah, he literally won by 4/100ths of a second. Race number 3 got away with Luke Power once again starting from pole position, and Lockie Taylor up there on the front row of the well as well on board bike number 151. Seth Crump got another great start and was well and truly in the action as they made their way down through turn 3 and into turn 4 for the first time.
Johnny Littress was there as well. Luke Power up the inside too. Big gaggle of riders that could win this one, but Maxi Stauffer was back where he wanted to be. It was good to see the Kawasaki's out the front this time, Phil.
Yeah, Senna Agius and also Callum O'Brien, who I've been so impressed with this weekend on his debut for BC Performance Kawasaki, continually in that lead group. His third different bike in 3 years. Senna Agius led them down the straight. Look at Callum O'Brien, well placed. Johnny Littress, who was so upset missing out on the line in taking the win in race number 2, also well placed. And as always, this weekend, Max Stauffer right in the mix on board bike number 27.
It was good to see the KTM a lot more competitive this time out too. Seth Crump hanging with that group as they started the wind down. Up the inside he goes, but once again, it's the strong number 27, Maxi Stauffer, who took the lead through Honda, but then we had another faller, another Kawasaki man down.
Yeah, that was Callum O'Brien, who'd been running at the front all weekend, and he had a little bit of a crash coming out of Siberia corner, which put him out of the equation, but his fellow Kawasaki rider, Senna Agius, took up the running at the front. Luke Power in second, Max Stauffer in there as well, but this time it was Littress that pulled out of the slipstream and blasted to the front to take the victory. The final race of the weekend by 0.037 of a second over Senna Agius and Luke Power. Those 3 riders also were in the top riders for the round, with Max Stauffer taking the round victory from Johnny Littress and Luke Power.
Max Stauffer, congratulations. Fantastic racing this weekend and winning the round here at Phillip Island. A great start for your 2019 season.
Yeah, the start to the 2019 season was absolutely fantastic. Couldn't be any happier. 2 race wins here at Phillip Island and a third. That's tough here. Yeah, I can't thank all my sponsors enough, and my family, dad, mum, mama and father, they're all amazing.
Congratulations to Max Stauffer. He takes the round win with 67 points over Johnny Littress on 56, Luke Power on 55, Senna Agius, what a debut in the class, on 53 in 4th place, Harry Curry in 5th, also a star this weekend. Keep your eye on Seth Crump as well. He'll be looking to get back on the podium at the next round. Riders in the Kawasaki Superbike class will be back out on track shortly for their 3rd and final race this weekend. But in 2019, Motul and Pirelli step up to be the naming right sponsors for the championship as we celebrate 40 years of Australian domestic superbike racing.
I'm here with Don Nicholas from Link International, and it is now the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. They've come up from a presented by sponsor to a naming rights sponsor. Thank you so much for the extra commitment for the 2019 season. Very exciting. How did it all come about?
Emma, look, we've been involved in the ASBK Championship now for many years with Motul and Pirelli as well. It's something that's pretty important to us as a company at Link International. Going racing is kind of part of our DNA. So when we were looking at the possibility of becoming naming rights, it was something really exciting for us as a company. Again, we've worked long term with ASBK now for many years. Motul as a brand and Pirelli as a brand both really have racing in their blood. So for us, it's a really good match. The championship itself has really started to kick along. So we're really, really happy with how things are going, and it's great to have our two brands alongside ASBK for this year's series.
And great timing too, because it's just gotten even bigger and better for the ASBK paddock, and being on TV, having all the coverage as well has been fantastic. Who is your tip to win the championship for 2019? I always like to ask this question.
Yeah, cool. Look, hey, we've got a couple of favourites. So, Troy Bayliss, I think, is doing an amazing job. So we're really excited to see how he goes again on board the Desmond Sport Ducati. Look, there's a real mix of riders. There's plenty of guys that are up the front. It's really cool and exciting with a pointy end of the field. Has got some great riders. So Wayne's riding really well already on the Suzuki. So, hey, lots of things. Troy is always going to be there. Troy Herfoss on the Honda. So, yeah, it's exciting times. I think we're looking forward to it again. It's a new season, same old, same old. We start again, so we're really looking forward to it. And Phillip, what a place to start the series. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Don. It's going to be a great year.
Thanks, Emma.
Yeah, great to hear from Don Nicholas there, and also the continued support from Motul and Pirelli. Well, weather conditions here at Phillip Island are absolutely perfect as we get ready now for Kawasaki Superbike race number 3. Lots of interested spectators, none more than you, Steve Martin, because so far we have had 2 epic Superbike races.
Yeah, they have been absolute stunners. I cannot wait to get this one underway. Hopefully Wayne Maxwell is okay. They've got that bike back out there, but there's still a little bit of anticipation about his hand.
And also his injured collarbone as well. He'll also be riding the spare bike. Troy Herfoss has had a difficult and character-building weekend. He's down on the grid with Emma.
Reigning champion Troy Herfoss. Troy, obviously the start of this one is crucial with a very competitive pack ahead of you.
Yeah, it's been a very, very tough weekend. Everyone's going so fast, and it's race 3, and I've had a few consistent results, but it'll be great to move up the field just a little bit.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And classic Troy Herfoss. He's had a difficult weekend, but he's still got a big smile on his face, and he will be putting in everything he's got in this last race. As we have a look now at Daniel Falzon, getting ready. He crashed out of race number 2. He's already lost some points in this championship. He knows he's looking for a strong result here in race number 2. And you can see Wayne Maxwell there, very gingerly it looked like, taking off his helmet as he gets ready for this start in the final Superbike race. Time to head back down to the grid and hear from another former Australian Superbike champion with Emma.
Mike Jones, some great results so far this weekend. And you're on a borrowed bike too, so I'm guessing there were some challenges getting that set up right for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. It's big thanks to K&R Hydraulics and Maverick Race Development for letting us use the bike. But it's a big challenge to come from the test a couple of weeks ago and be able to come and race with the front guys. But we're making good progress and we're moving forward, so we'll see how we go in this next race.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There's a very steely and determined looking Aidan Wagner, pretty much exactly the way he's looked all weekend, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that he'll be looking forward to tonight. There'll be a lot of pressure on him to get this final win. Wayne Maxwell, what can he do? He's already had a DNF and a win this weekend. He can't afford another DNF. Going into this weekend, Phil, he wanted to get 3 solid point-scoring races. Not the case.
Well, time to head back down to the grid and hear from another former Australian champion, in fact, a 3 times Australian Superbike champion. He's with Emma.
Glenn Allerton, top 10 results so far this weekend. It is the final race, and I know that you'll be pushing hard for this one.
Yeah, we're in the top 10, but it's not where I want to be. I want to be up the front. So worked really hard last night on the setting of the bike to try and improve for today, and we're really looking to try to get to the front.
Good luck.
Thanks.
It's a big thumbs up from Mad Mike Jones as he gets ready for the start of race number 3. You can see Troy Herfoss there in the background. He is all pumped up for a strong result here as well. Openly admits that this is not one of his best tracks, but he wanted to go away from this weekend with a solid haul of points, and that's exactly what he's been doing this weekend.
There's Arthur Cece's there as well. You can just see him with the Australian flag, number 61, painted on the back of his machine. He's moved back to Suzuki this year from Honda last year.
Aidan Wagner will start from pole position once again, with Crew Halliday and Daniel Falzon joining him on the front row of the grid. Josh Waters and Wayne Maxwell will start from row 2, and once again, no Troy Bayliss in position number 5.
Keep an eye on Mad Mike Jones out of 7th. He's getting faster as the weekend goes on. Troy Herfoss, another man who needs a good result. Glenn Allerton out of 9th. Bryan Staring from 10th. Marcus Kyoto 11th and Ted Collins in 12th.
Yeah, also keep your eye on Matt Walters, who usually gets pretty good starts and has just been knocking on the door or inside the top 10 every time we go racing this weekend. And unfortunately, as we mentioned, no Troy Bayliss. The Panigale's too badly damaged, and unfortunately Troy is as well. He'll be having an operation on Monday to make sure he's ready for round number 2. Well, final race of the 2019 season opener here at Phillip Island for the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. We are ready to go racing for the final time this weekend. The red lights are on and we're away. Great start from Josh Waters. Look at him try and find his way past the pole man. Hayden Wagner as they charge down towards turn 1 for the first time. Keep your eye on Arthur Cece's coming down the inside on bike number 61. He'll slot into 4th position.
But it's Josh Waters out front at the moment. A great start by Josh Waters. He certainly fixed that problem that he had. We've got someone on the grass on the inside there, and it's Marcus Kyoto. He's run off early on in the race. That's not good start. Oh, there's someone else down. I didn't quite catch the number of that, but it looked like another Honda. Could have been Damon Rees, I think.
Yeah, and also too, it looked like Max Croker was struggling to keep the Matt Mladen Suzuki on track as well when Marcus Kyoto was off the circuit. So we've started with plenty of action in race number 3 as we come through turn 4 for the first time. Yep, that is Damon Rees. Unfortunately, his weekend has ended early and he'll be out of the running on the Carl Cox Motorsport Honda.
Well, Josh Waters, he didn't get a good start in race 1, but he's certainly race 2 and race 3 right where he needs to be at the front of these 12-lap races. Excellent. His problem is, though, he's got a bunch of super fast guys behind him.
Well, and the 3 guys that are out in front, after CC's is sitting in 4th place, and it looks like there's a few riders trying to find their way past the privateer on board bike number 61. The first one of them is Crew Halliday, and you know who else is in there? The man that you predicted for a big ride in race number 3, Steve, and that is Mad Mike Jones on board bike number 46 on the K&R Hydraulics Kawasaki ZX10 this weekend.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen him for a little while. He has been overseas riding in the Spanish Championship, and I'll tell you what, that's a pretty tough place to try and earn your ride. So to come back here now, it's pretty tough here too, but he's got what it takes. He's already won the Australian Championship once. Keep an eye on Mad Mike. He'll make his way forward, as does Daniel Falzon, passing the number 28, Adam Wagner. He moves up, but Wagner's on the inside, and he's not going to have it. He goes around the outside into Southern Loop.
Well, both of those riders are fired up from race number 2 for completely separate reasons. Aidan Wagner run the race and had that incident with Wayne Maxwell at turn 12. Daniel Falzon crashed out of his own mistake at turn 10. He's all fired up to try and get some points back in this 3rd and final race this weekend. And look at the battle between Crew Halliday and also Mad Mike Jones, who have both managed to find their way past other CC's. Glenn Allerton on a charge as well, looking for his best result this weekend on board that next-gen motorsport BMW S1000RR as they wait for the brand new model, which hopefully will be here at the 2nd or 3rd round of the 2019 Championship.
You can just see there Marcus Kyoto runs a little bit wide through turn 1, and not much place to go there, but he manages to gather it up. Meanwhile, in the middle of the pack, it's Damon Rees on his Honda, who loses the front mid-corner. Looks like he has a bit of a touch of one of the Kawasaki riders in the middle of the pack there, so might not have just necessarily been his fault that he went down.
Well, plenty of elbow rubbing this weekend here at Phillip Island for the first round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. The Kawasaki Superbike class has put on some great racing so far this weekend, and the man that is having the best of the times at the moment is our current race leader, Josh Waters, on board the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia JSXR 1000 RR as he leads them down the straight to complete lap 2 of the 12-lap race. Looking back into 3rd place, it is still Daniel Falzon. Mad Mike Jones and Crew Halliday have really closed the gap down on lap 2, and they are really starting to make this a 5-bike battle now for the lead. Then a bit of a gap back to the group that's being led by Glenn Allerton on bike number 14.
Oh, I'm getting tired of saying this, but Aidan Wagner has made his move back into the front again. Boy, is he putting it on. Bit of a moment there for him. How much emotion is out there in these races at the moment? Look at Daniel Falzon there. His bike moving around all over the place. He moves into 2nd place now, searching for a victory. He hasn't had one on the factory Yamaha yet. Crashed last time out. He's one guy that needs to get some points. Mad Mike Jones there. He's joined the group. He's thinking right now, Phil, hey, I can stay with these guys. I'm in with a chance.
And also the man that's now leading the 2nd group behind Troy Herfoss, the reigning Australian Superbike champion on board bike number 1. The Penrite Honda has had a difficult weekend doing double duty in World Superbike as well. and would love a strong haul of points in this third and final race to head to his home round at Wakefield Park at the next round, full of confidence.
I'll tell you who's nowhere to be seen. Bryan Staring is not in this leading group. He's going to have to pull something magical if he wants to win this one.
Well, he's sitting there behind Glenn Allerton and also Arthur Cecis in close company. The race is currently being led by Aidan Wagner on board bike number 28. We'll have a short break and come back for the conclusion of Superbike race number 3. Welcome back to Phillip Island. We are on lap 4 of the 12-lap journey. Aidan Wagner leads from Daniel Falzon. Crew Halliday comes up the inside of Josh Waters, gets the door well and truly slammed in his face by the 3-time Australian Superbike champion, and we have a 5-bike battle at the front because Mad Mike Jones has joined the fray.
Yeah, he's looking pretty comfortable there in the back. He's been working hard. They've been working on the setup of that Kawasaki, and I'll tell you what, it might not be the latest Kawasaki out there, Phil, but it's doing the job, and it's a bike that he knows well. He won the championship on one a few years ago now, back in 2015.
Yeah, and the man that's helping him this weekend, Al Samuels, one of the busiest men in the pits, charging up and down, helping lots of riders out this weekend. But whatever he's doing to Mad Mike Jones's bike, keep doing it, and hopefully we see Mad Mike Jones racing at round 2 in Wakefield Park in only a few weeks' time. And at the moment, though, it is Aidan Wagner that currently leads on board bike number 28, the Lambridge Transport Yamaha, from the Yamaha of Daniel Falzon, the Suzuki of Josh Waters, bike number 21. Then it's the Yamaha of Crew Halliday and the Kawasaki of Mad Mike Jones.
Disappointed to see that Wayne Maxwell's not in this leading group. He should be there, but that big crash that he had in race 2 probably is holding him back a little bit, you've got to say.
I think as we just came across the top shot there, I think Wayne Maxwell has now moved to the lead of the second group there in front of Troy Herfoss. So maybe he's starting to make a charge forward. How long can he last? He's got a big gap to try and make up. I'm not sure even the Pharaoh Phillip Island can achieve that.
Well, we'll keep an eye on his lap times and that gap and see if he can achieve the impossible. But when you've got the calibre of these guys out front, it's going to be difficult for him.
And you reckon there, by the attitude of Aidan Wagner's bike, they might be pushing on a fraction on lap 5 of lap 12, but not even at half race distance yet. Falzon has taken up the running in the front. I think that was because Wagner lost a bit of drive out of turn 12. The bike was wobbling all over the show. Falzon's run wide. Wagner on a tight line has gone back up the inside. Waters has gone round as well. Waters up into second place, and Crew Halliday has now got a sniff of his teammate.
Well, there's almost perfect conditions out there on track at the moment, Phil. The lap times are low. They're in the low 32s at the moment. Boy, this is the fastest race that I've seen in a long time.
Well, just having a look at the timing monitor, it indicates that Mad Mike Jones on lap 2 has set a brand new lap record. Steve Martin, the first Australian Superbike rider into the 31s with a 31.891. So conditions are perfect, and Mad Mike Jones, who's now on the back of this lead group, is making hay while the sun shines.
Well, that would be giving him a lot of confidence when he went over the start-finish line and saw that incredibly fast lap time. That is approaching World Superbike spec time. So Mad Mike Jones is on an absolute mission and is definitely a major part of this leading pack.
Well, he's taken 0.3 of a second out of the existing lap record set by Troy Bayliss at 1:32.194. So Mad Mike Jones is actually really flying at the moment, and now he's probably being held up trying to find a way past the riders in front. Currently still Aidan Wagner leads, Josh Waters in second, then it's Falzon, Halliday, Waters. Having a look behind them, just trying to get an idea of who is leading the second group now. Is it still Wayne Maxwell? It is. The Pharaoh Phillip Island is on a charge, and he looks to be closing down the distance to the riders in front. Wayne Maxwell on 47, keep your eye on him, and he's bringing Troy Herfoss on bike number 1 with him.
Yeah, how tough is Wayne Maxwell to be able to do that, to be able to catch up to Herfoss and pass the reigning Australian champion. Less than a couple of hours ago, he was flying over the handlebars in the final turn at over 200 kilometres an hour at this Phillip Island circuit.
Do you reckon the Wayne train might have a full head of steam?
Well, I reckon it has, but not even a full head of Wayne's steam can make that gap up. There's only 6 laps to go.
Well, everyone looking relatively composed. Not a lot of big black lines coming out at half race distance now as we head through Stoner Corner and down in towards turn 4. In fact, that's probably the most composed I've seen them head through turn 4 in the entire 2.5 races that we've seen so far this weekend. There was no biffing, there was no barging, no trying to outbrake each other. It was pretty much a big conga line as they make their way out of turn 4 through Siberia and now up towards the hay shed.
Well, I'm sure it's not going to stay like that for long. Crew Halliday is certainly looking for a way through. Daniel Falzon on a different different line now. And once again, Josh Waters just starting to work his way backwards in that group. He doesn't want to do that. He's strong at the start. He needs to do something. Mad Mike looks up the inside. He can't do it. And I think I might have been wrong because it looks like Wayne Maxwell is closing that gap down.
He is. As they come round to complete this lap, we'll keep our eye on the distance. It was 1.1 seconds at the completion of the previous lap. Wayne Maxwell and Troy Herfoss are now well and truly in this mix. Oh, this is going to be an exciting final race because once Wayne Maxwell gets into this, things are going to get shaken up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Wayne and how he's going to react when he gets near the number 28 Aidan Wagner on track.
Seriously, I've got goosebumps in the commentary box as we get ready for the final half of this race as they come down through turn one. It is Mad Mike Jones up the inside of Josh Waters, and now look at the back of Waters' machine. You've got Wayne Maxwell. You can see through his visor how pumped up he is as they come through turn two. He means business, and Herfoss is there for the party as well. Who's that right behind? Is that Bryan Staring as well?
Yeah, Staring's made his way forward too. Maybe this, we'll have to have a look at the lap times, but this front group seemed to have slowed down a little bit, which has allowed the guys at the back to catch up as they head into turn four and out of there again. Nice and smooth. Aidan Wagner controlling the pace of this race at the moment, and that group that was 4 or 5 is now pretty much everybody that counts and got a chance to win the championship.
Everybody in the lead group apart from Wayne Maxwell and Troy Herfoss in the high 33s on that last lap, Steve Martin. As Mike Jones goes up the inside through the hay shed. Oh, that's a daringly fast manoeuvre there, and he moves up into third place. All the rest of them were in the high 33s. Maxwell and Herfoss in the 32s. That's why they're right on the back of this lead group now. Here comes Staring and Glenn Allerton as well. How many Australian championships do you want in this lead group?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff out there. Aidan Wagner is controlling the pace at the moment by the look of it. We know he can go a lot faster than that. Is he trying to, for the first time this weekend, conserve his tyres?
I don't think Aidan Wagner knows the meaning of the C word, conservation.
I don't think so either. There's a little bit of a wheelie to show us that we don't know what we're talking about. He's back on the gas again. But Crew Halliday takes the lead, as does Mike Jones. He wants a little bit of this, tries to go up the inside in turn one. Can't do it there. But watch out for Wagner. He likes going around the outside and up the inside. Can't do it this time because Crew Halliday's woken up and blocked that line off. But Mike's wide and he does move up to second place. And in fact, Wagner goes on the inside and takes the lead again.
306 kilometres an hour for Mad Mike Jones down the straight on that occasion as they come through turn three with Wagner still leading. Positions starting to change now every lap. Maxwell having a look up the inside of Falzon, can't quite get there. Herfoss stranded on the outside of Maxwell and has to pull the bike back online to try and get the drive out towards Siberia. Bike starting to move around a little bit more, Steve Martin, now as the tyre degradation starts to take effect.
Well, I reckon that we're going to see that pace come down again now as everyone starts to get a little bit more serious. It's good to see Herfoss has been able to join up with this group, and it looked like Herfoss in the background there just dove up the inside of Wayne Maxwell, so good to see Herfoss having a bit of a crack.
Well, unlike the previous battles as well, there's no Bryan Staring throwing the Dunlop wildcard into this lead group. They're pretty much all Pirelli shod as they make their way out of turn four now, so tyre degradation will really be resulting on the setup that they've got for these bikes and how hard the riders have pushed on in these early laps.
Yeah, you say that, but Bryan Staring is now lurking in the background. If he's a second a lap quicker than these guys, he's going to eat them up, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can do it. You can just see him. He's just at the back of that screen there, coming onto the start-finish straight now. And we saw how quickly Wayne Maxwell and Troy Herfoss was able to catch up.
Well, down the inside, it is Mad Mike Jones into the lead. Did you see how wide Herfoss was, and also how wide Aidan Wagner was on the run in towards turn one? He was right out on the ripple strips. He was almost grass tracking it, and he's now back into the lead.
How much mid-corner speed do you want? Aidan Wagner has got an incredible amount of whatever it is that he wants. Front corner grip, around the outside grip, it slides, he lets it go. He's just got that bike working perfectly for him.
Well, Adrian Monti, who's been setting up for Aidan Wagner's bike this weekend, has been doing a miraculous job because he has so much confidence to put the bike anywhere. And as we said, he's using a lot more 600-ish type lines rather than traditional Superbike lines of carrying a lot more corner speed.
Well, I won't be going down to give him any advice or change anything because he's doing a pretty good job out there at the moment, I reckon, Phil.
Well, you have a look at the guys that Adrian Monti's worked with in the paddock. He's worked with some superstars. He's worked with Jamie Stouffer, and he's been doing a great job over the last couple of years, really applying his trade. And this weekend, he's having a great effort with with Aidan Wagner, but also now Mad Mike Jones has thrown his hat into the mix for the victory in race number 3. Look at the distance he made up there, but he's run wide on the exit of turn 10. He was very deep into the corner. Another rider that seems to have amazing confidence in his front end.
Tell me this, Phil, when was the last time we saw 2 independent riders, 1 and 2, in an Australian Superbike race? It must have been a long time ago.
And one of them on a borrowed bike.
One of them on a borrowed bike and one of them on virtually a street bike.
So as we come down to complete lap number 10 now, we've got 2 more tours of Phillip Island to go. About 9 more kilometres, 4.45 kilometres a lap round Phillip Island. 24 corners, make that 23. We're through turn 1 safely and we still have a lead group of 7 riders.
Wagner once again up the inside on Mike Jones. Mike Jones having to settle for that second position at the moment. Completely different lines between those guys, and Mike has definitely got a style all to himself, hasn't he? The way that he hangs off the bike there, very MotoGP-esque.
Well, and also too, Wagner's got a style all of his own. Wayne Maxwell and crew Halliday, Josh Waters, they've all got styles of their own. That's what making this racing so exciting. And if this weekend has been any indication of what 2019 is going to be like, can we please fast forward 3 weeks to Wakefield Park? I don't think I can wait 3 weeks for this battle to resume and have 2 more exciting races at a completely different track where the next round will be held. It's short and it's tight and it's twisty, and there's no open fast spaces like here at Phillip Island.
Well, we've got a couple of laps to get through here first, Phil, and I reckon they're going to be the best of the weekend. Things are going to arc up big time because nobody in this field will want to watch Aidan Wagner walk away with this one.
What was that we were mentioning about Troy Herfoss looking for a strong result in the final race? That's exactly what he's on for at the moment. This will be the closest that he has finished to the race leader all weekend, and I think you'll find Bryan Staring is getting faster and faster. You picked it before, Steve Martin. The Dunlops are starting to come in now in the final stages of the race, and Bryan Staring is almost onto the back of this lead group. We have now got a 9-bike battle for the lead.
Yeah, but there's probably not enough time for him as we head on to the 11th lap of this race now. He's right at the back of that pack there, and it looks like Herfoss is just starting to drop off the back a bit now.
So round through turn 1 we come. Wagner still leads. Mad Mike Jones in second. Waters just having a look there. I think when you have a look back through those first couple of stages, Aidan Wagner is the only one that hasn't won an Australian Superbike Championship in either the Superbike or any support classes. The rest of them are all multiple champions.
Well, he's certainly doing a good job this weekend to make it happen. Waters on the inside there. Good to see him getting a little bit aggressive. Looks up the inside. Waters is good into this part of the circuit as well. He's where he wants to be. Crew Halliday, another guy that's impressed this weekend. Everybody's had their flashes of brilliance. It's good to see. It bodes well for the rest of this year.
I don't think there's anyone in the top 15 that we haven't been impressed with so far this weekend. It's been a great debut from Max Croker as well in that first race. Unfortunately, he's had a few difficult races since then. But Mad Mike Jones now into the lead and really pushing on hard. He's another rider that's proving to the World Superbike paddock that he is a world-class rider, and he wants to be in this paddock as well.
Yeah, that was an incredible pass we just saw from Mad Mike too, but Aidan Wagner up the inside, he can't do it. Mad Mike, boy, he had some corner entry speed into the hay shed. He'll be eyeing that up for the last lap.
I'm not sure that Mad Mike's seen what's been going on so far in some of the slower corners this weekend. The way he flew into there and just simply turned his bike across the front of Aidan Wagner with pretty much gay abandon showed that he has got a lot of confidence on his corner entry speed that no one was going up the inside of him.
Well, Aidan Wagner once again took that tight line as we head on to the final lap of this race. Now it's going to be a doozy. They're all together side by side as they head into turn 1. It's Mad Mike that leads at the moment.
4.45 kilometres to go. It is on in earnest now. There is nothing holding back. It is everything you've got. Lay your cards on the table, and Aidan Wagner is the first one to put his hand down at turn 2. How many aces has he got in that hand?
Daniel Falzon's working his way forward as well now. Daniel Falzon's worked his way up into 4th position at the moment, right behind crew Halliday, but it is that man, Aidan Wagner, that leads into what is perhaps the weakest part of the track for him, turn 4. But he holds it together. No one tries to dive up the inside this time round. Mike Jones on a tight line, can't get through.
Late apex once again for Aidan Wagner. He gets a great drive out of the corner. Bryan Staring just set his fastest lap of the race on the 11th lap. The Dunlops are coming to the party. Is it a fraction too late for Staring? He's got a lot of work to do to get up onto the podium.
Yeah, he's got to pass a lot of people in the next couple of kilometres. I think it's all over for him. But Aidan Wagner now with a little bit of a gap. He's got the pedal to the metal and he's starting to pull out a couple of bike lengths on these guys. That could be enough if he can keep it clean. but he didn't in race 2. He had a bit of a moment, so we know that he's one to watch.
How wide is he across the top of Lukey Heights? He's got the narrow run into turn 12. Will that compromise his drive? Mad Mike Jones runs a fraction wide. Wagner's out wide again at turn 11, but it's those 600 lines. Can he hold it together? He's kept it relatively in shape as they come out of turn 11. I think he may have just done enough. If he gets good drive through turn 12 and get the run to the flag, Crew Halliday's the big danger at the moment for Mad Mike Jones as they make the battle for second and third position, but it is Wagner. Wagner will take the win from Mad Mike Jones and Crew Halliday, and I'm not prepared to say who came fourth in that race. It was so close.
Yeah, that was an absolute cracker, and it's Aidan Wagner who takes victory here again. What a brilliant ride for him. Arthur Cece's comes over the line just in front of Marcus Kyoto as well.
Well, those two were battling for the rookie honours last year, and they've resumed the battle in race 3 of round 1 this year. But there is your round winner and race 3 winner, Aidan Wagner. Congratulations to Mad Mike Jones, who finished in second. Crew Halliday in third. Falzon got the better of Waters and Maxwell in the battle for fourth place. In sixth place was Maxwell. Then seventh, Troy Herfoss, 1.4 seconds, covered the top 7. Bryan Staring in 8th. Glenn Allerton in 9th. And his teammate Ted Collins rounds out the top 10. Arthur Cece's finished in 11th. Mark Kyoto in 12th. Also, big congratulations to Max Croker, the leading rookie this weekend, with a 12th, a 10th and a 14th place over the 3 races. What a final instalment in the first round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Let's head down to Park from A to hear from our top 3.
In third position, Crew Halliday. I don't think anyone could take their eyes off the screen. That was an amazing race and a great start to your season. Well done.
Yeah, it was unreal. I sort of lost count of the lap board, and I was that focused on the race. I wasn't even really looking at my board. So, once Jonesy and Josh got past me, I sort of, I sat behind them for a little bit. Made a little mistake and had to sort of bridge in. It wouldn't have been much of a gap, but I come around the next lap and I seen there was only like 2 laps to go. So I was like, I have to get in front of Josh or either Mike, because they got a touch more power than me down the straight, and I had to make sure I had a bit of a gap on them coming on the straight. But third for that race and second overall for this round. Can't say enough. As I said before, I come here from top 5 for my goal, and we've knocked that out of the ballpark. So hats off to Kevy, Plummy, Flapper, my old man, Team Yamaha, Pirelli, everyone, the guys, Shark Helmets, everyone, the guys working fantastically. Can't wait for round 2.
Great work back on a super diet. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mike Jones, two privateers on the podium. Fantastic to see. There was a moment where you came out of nowhere and joined that lead pack. Well done, second position.
Thank you very much. I'm obviously absolutely ecstatic with the race. Made a really good start and got away well with the guys at the front there, and that helped me, through the race to keep the lap times up and be there for the finish. And just want to say a big thanks to K&R Hydraulics and Maverick Race Development for allowing us to use the bike. It's been a challenging time since the ASBK test here a couple of weeks ago, but we've shown that within sort of 6 days or so of riding, we can be up the front and pointy end. So it's a really good achievement for us. I'm very happy.
Great work.
Thank you. Cheers.
And our winner, Aidan Wagner, the privateer. You set some goals for yourself this year. You said you want to be the top privateer, tick, and you also wanted to challenge those factory boys, tick, tick. Well done. You've won the round.
Thank you very much. It's awesome to take the round win on the Landbridge race in privateer Yamaha. Got a great experienced group of guys behind me, making this bike such a pleasure to ride. So it was really good to battle out there with Mike, another privateer as well, who's another really experienced rider. So well done to all the boys on the podium, and awesome to take this win home. I'm going to sleep really good tonight.
Enjoy the champagne.
Thank you.
I bet he'll sleep well tonight. Aidan Wagner takes the round win with 71 points from Crew Halliday on 55 and Josh Waters on 50 points. Also, Mad Mike Jones, 49, and Bryan Staring in 5th place on 48 points. It is pretty tightly packed from positions 2 back to 5 at the moment as we head to the next round at Wakefield Park. That is on the 22nd to the 24th of March. As you can see on the MA calendar events, also coming up is the FIM Oceania Speedway Sidecar Championship on the 29th to the 30th of March at Gilman Speedway in South Australia. And also the Pirelli Australian MX Nationals Round 2 on the 30th to the 31st of March at Wonthaggi in Victoria. For more information, go to www.ma.org.au. Well, what a way to start the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship for the Kawasaki Superbike and YMI Supersport 300 classes. Let's go down to Emma for some final thoughts.
Wow, what an epic weekend of racing. The championship is certainly fierce and the battle is on for the 2019 season. Congratulations to Aidan Wagner, who took out the round win for Superbikes, and also to Max Stouffer for Supersport 300. One round down and still 6 to go. The next is just around the corner, the 22nd to the 24th of March at Wakefield Park in New South Wales. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, head to asbk.com.au for everything ASBK, and also for all the MA events, head to ma.org.au. Thanks for watching. See you next time.